Welcome everyone to Real Talk with Ellison, and I am Ellison. Listen, don't be selfish. If you're on Facebook, like and also share out. If you are on YouTube, we ask you to please subscribe and also share out, because on Real Talk with Ellison, we talk about real issues that impact the church and the community as a whole. So with that being said, we're about to get this show started. Welcome, everyone. I'm Ellison, and today we are continuing with Black History with a Twist. Today, we are going to discuss the financial impact on the community. So I want to, before I bring on my special guests, who I'm so excited that have joined me on today, I want to give some information about Black history. There was a community of great possibilities where there was people of color. We were prospering. It was built by Black people for Black people. They had places to work, places to live, places to learn, places to shop, places to play. You name it, it had places to worship. It was a thriving Black community. It was a community of commerce and family life to roughly about 10,000 people. So this community that I'm talking about has grown to about 35 blocks of neighborhoods of Black people just getting along and shopping together. And they had bustling retail scenes, and they had schools, hospitals, their own newspaper. I mean, they were flourishing. The neighborhood I'm speaking of is none other than Greenwood, aka the Black Wall Street. Right. So I wanted to bring that up because I think this is really important to understand that we as a people, we can thrive, right? And we can be in a community together, and we can work together to also thrive. But what took years to build was erased less than 24 hours by racial violence. It was labeled among the worst racial attack in the nation's history, as well as the government's culpability. This act sent thousands, hundreds to mass graves, and forever, listen to what I'm saying, this act of violence forever impacted people's family trees, their generational wealth. This was an impact on the Black community. So here today, I have joining with me none other than Troy and Jasmine Wilkins. They are CEOs and founders of Finance Academy Incorporated. Welcome, guys.
Let's go.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. I love it. Y'all are doing your thing. So tell us, please, a little bit about yourselves.
Okay, well, my name is Troy. This is my lovely
I'm
wife, Jasmine. And we've been married. This year will actually be 7 years. We met at the great HBCU, Virginia State.
Yeah.
So we met there, and my side of the story, I tell people, she was sweating the brother, but
Jasmine.
It's the truth. But
So we actually met at Virginia State, and we're introduced there and got married a year after college, a year after I graduated. And then now we have two beautiful girls, Grace and Alexis. Grace is 4, Alexis is 2. And
we've been on assignment ever since. Ever since we got married. So we're just definitely all about just following the assignment that God has for us to make an impact on the community.
I like that. We have been on assignment ever since y'all met at a HBCU. You know, you were sweating a brother, but listen, you might have been sweating him, but I'm sure he was eyeing you too.
Yeah, absolutely.
So listen, let's not get it twisted. This is real talk.
That's right.
And you guys have 2 wonderful children. You have your own business, and that is great. So listen, bringing past back history into today, right? As financial advisors, right? I want you to give us just a little bit backstory, not too deep into it, because we're going to go into that more in the show, but a little bit of what you do so that so the audience can identify your expertise in the matter.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much. So definitely excited to share that we are licensed financial professionals. And what we do is we help educate families on how to make and save money. And we're partnered with a prestigious financial firm, and we focus on building and protecting wealth, saving on money on taxes, and ultimately leaving a legacy for your loved ones. So that's what we do by educating people on financial literacy.
Right. So let me ask you this question before we go into it. You heard what I said about what happened, and I'm sure mostly everyone knows about Black Wall Street. That's something, Black history, I don't feel like is something that we need to forget about, because that is history in itself. Can't have history without our history. So with what I said about Black Wall Street and how they were flourishing, you guys as a Black young couple, did you have any obstacles that you faced on your journey?
Oh, absolutely. Man, obstacles, financial obstacles, bankruptcy. We've been through it. We've been through bringing in money and really, not knowing what to do with it. We've been in seeing family members, loved ones, friends, not able to retire, working until you die. Like, we've been through many experiences that eventually brought us to the industry and birthed ministries and passions out of that. And oftentimes, like, they always say your misery, in a sense, is your ministry. That's the foundation, like, for us.
Absolutely.
Listen, so with everything that happened at Black Wall Street, right? One factor that drove the violence was the resentment towards Black prosperity.
Right.
Now, this is just opinions. In your opinion, as financial advisors and teachers and speakers, in your opinion, does some of that hold true today?
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. In my opinion, I honestly believe that, in my strong opinion, and I'm sometimes hesitant when I say this, but I firmly believe that if we understood the power that we had as a race financially and as a people financially, we won't see a lot of things that we see in regards to injustices, oppression, systemic oppression, because money runs the world. Money, even the Bible mentions, like, money answereth all things, right? So, I firmly believe if we truly understand and come to a conscious awareness of the power that we have in, number one, unifying, and number two, our money, our resources, and how we steward, we'll definitely see some changes, legislation changes, political changes, economic changes, environmental changes. Because we start so far behind. That we still are a dominant people. So imagine leveling the playing field. It's almost like giving us the advantage, because we make the best out of what we have now.
Right. And that's why I feel like what happened at Black Wall Street was so detrimental, because I'm not one to be on shoulda, coulda, wouldas, but to see how they were flourishing and how that would have impacted us as a people going forward. I see that as something that could have held us a little bit more to a higher standard, even for our own selves. So with that being said, Jasmine and Troy, did you guys face any obstacles when trying to get your business?
Wow, that's a good question. Mm-hmm. And I would tell you, listen, we are all here believers, my husband and I, so just knowing that God ultimately orders your steps, and the obstacles that we faced is kind of like really figuring things out on your own, not really having someone behind us that really was able to have a business, like start up a business from their own. So it was, I would say the legacy is kind of like we feel like we're starting that, that push and just really figuring things out. And we stumble along the way, leading up to the bankruptcy and getting things repossessed and things like that. So I would say the obstacles that we faced, and now having the opportunity to be able to shift environments because of God's grace with us. Because we definitely can see a change when you do better. You will ultimately be in a better position to get to where you need to be.
Yeah, and I agree. Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, I would add one of the biggest obstacles I would say that we see now is having people to receive the information. Because when you talk about money and people, especially our people, we're kind of tight with our money in regards to like, all right, now, you ain't about to sit here and do, or like, okay, this is foreign information, or this is information that I'm just not knowledgeable to.
Right. So speak to that, because there, with me growing up, nobody shared with, save and this and that. Nobody shared that. So how many times do you probably hear, oh, well, I didn't know. I wish I would have known. And nobody shared this with me. Speak to that part. Like, we don't know. So now here you're telling me to do this.
Yeah. And that's where the Finance Academy was birthed. Okay. The mission behind Finance Academy is to educate the children at a young age. So the academy actually starts at age 7. We believe there's not an age too young where you could start learning about money. But we understand, like at age 7, the kids can kind of comprehend and understand a bit more.
Sit still.
Right. So that's where the Finance Academy was birthed. From what we do as professionals, as professionals, we focus on 4 crises. And the crises that currently go on in the world is the savings crisis. 69% of Americans have $1,000 or less in their savings account. That's a crisis, right? When we talk about retirement, in 2018, Forbes magazine stated that the median retirement account balance was about $26,000. Right? 5 years later, that median is now about $32,000 to $35,000.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to give me a minute, because I've been known to blow a mic, so I just need a minute, and I'm sure for the viewers, they're probably like, whoa, wait, hold up, wait. So we're gonna talk about that again, because if I'm not mistaken, aren't you supposed to have 6 months saved up for rainy days? But yet I heard you say that 69% only got about $1,000 in their savings account.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just two. That's just 2 other crises. Remember, I
that's just 2.
The savings crisis, the retirement crisis. The third is the proper protection crisis. 100 million adults have no life insurance whatsoever.
Okay, hold on. Woo, we only up on number 3.
Yeah.
So no life is no savings, no protection, no life insurance, right? What's the name of that song? Papa was a Rolling Stone, all he left us was alone. I'm like, we as a people have got to be educated and have to do better. And with you saying all of this, listen, y'all, hashtag savings, right? Because that's important. And you said something so powerful. You said working until you die. We work. And that's all we as Black people knew was work hard. And then we don't enjoy the fruits of our labor. So then there goes no retirement because we worked hard, and we can't even enjoy it.
Yeah.
And then now you're telling me I didn't save no money. I done worked hard and now I died and I don't even have no life insurance.
So where does the legacy start?
My God. And that's we up to, what was that, 4?
That was number 3.
Jesus, number
that
3.
Was number 3.
Okay, all right, go ahead. I'm
one more. The fourth one is living benefits. What happens in the event, God forbid, you were to get too sick and you had to be out of work for 3 to 6 months? What do you have in place to replace your income? Or if something were to happen where you needed what is it, in-home nursing? Nursing care facility, in-home, a home health care person that's sitting in. What happens? What do you have to replace your income? Right? Where you look at the average nursing facility is about $92,000. Right?
That's for a good one.
Yeah.
That's a medium one. That's not even a real good one.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's where when we say we focus on the crises, we highlight those crises because as professionals, we come in to empower you.
Yeah.
Because those crises can be depressing because people look at their situation and find themselves right in it.
Yeah.
So that's a part of the reason why people don't want to have these conversations or receive the information because they feel hopeless.
Right.
We come in to empower and show you what it is. Like, okay, let's get some things in order. This is what it'll take.
Right. Ooh, that's powerful. That's powerful. That was number 4.
That was the last.
That was all of them.
Man, you guys, that was really good. Listen, guys, y'all have been watching Real Talk with Ellasin, and we have been talking with Troy and Jasmine Wilkins. And listen, y'all might have to rewind those 4 so that we can do better as a people, because I really think it's important that we be educated on this matter so that we know how, and truth be told, it's not too late for our older generation, but are we reaching back and are we teaching the generation to follow? And that's what you guys are doing. And I believe you said it starts at the age of 7. Yes. Right. But you do more. Do you go to churches and different things like that?
Yes. Yes. Okay. We go everywhere people want to receive the information. Then that's where we go because it's a service and it's something that people need.
Absolutely.
Right.
No matter how young or how old, like you mentioned, reaching out to people who may be up in age, there's still hope, right? You just need someone to guide you with the expertise that we have. Let's put a plan in place. It's going to hurt. You got to rip that Band-Aid off, but definitely there is still a chance for you to reach your dreams and enjoy the fruits of your labor. Like you said.
Yeah, she said, rip that Band-Aid off. Y'all need to hashtag there's still hope.
Yes.
Hashtag there's still hope. We still have hope. So let me ask you this. With understanding what happened to Black Wall Street, right? And that the violence that was driven because of towards Black people because of how they were prospering at that time. Do you still think there are some limitations we face as a community like that?
I think personally, the biggest limitation that we face is the mental limitation. Because, and I say this because we know racism exists. We know oppression exists. We know systematic injustice and all that stuff exists, but we have continuously found ways to navigate and excel even within those or beyond those parameters and those limitations in which we've been placed. So I think for us as a people, anytime we make up our mind, I think the Bible says in that scripture, be transformed by the renewing of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime we renew and refresh our mind, we can do anything. But most times it's breaking down the things that have, held our minds in shackles for so long.
The mental bondage of not knowing, the mental bondage of the unknown, where there is so much information out there that we can be educated, including people like you who are out there educating, not just the Black community, but the community as a whole. But are we so stuck in that mental bondage that we don't reach out for what's going to help us prosper and grow in life, because everything I want is right now? And I was looking at the statistics, and I want to say, I believe it was Forbes or a different money magazine, but as of February 2022, it reported that Black people are the major consumers in the American economy. This was February 2022. We was in COVID. Right? But we are the major consumers, despite the fact that we had a drop in our net worth of 14%. The Black people's spending power reached a record of $1.6 trillion by the end of 2020. Right? That's how by the end of 2021. That's why the statistics came out in February. $1.6 trillion that we spend a year on goods and services, and we don't have no savings, retirement, life insurance, and that's the only three I can remember. Troy, help me out with the
living benefits.
Living benefits.
We got to do better. Hashtag we got to do better.
Wow.
Right? We got to do better. We need to break out of the mental bondage and see our worth more than the shoes we put on our feet, the clothes we put on our back. And listen, I love a good weave, but it shouldn't not be more than I got on my head than I got in my savings account. Glory be to God. Y'all help us. Help me out. $1.6 trillion, and we are sitting here running around like we are poor, broke people.
Wow, so powerful that you said that, because
understand the concept of the money.
Exactly. And that proves to show that it's not a money thing. Wow. And oftentimes we have to stop believing the things that we're telling ourselves. Oh, I don't got the money. Oh, I can't. I can't do that. You have the money. It's just about your priorities. We have to mentally check ourselves and say, okay, can this wait? Or am I so anxious to make this purchase and get this item? It's not a money thing. It's not. It's discipline. It's stewardship. And we're here as professionals to show you and help people to go from spenders to now savers.
Yes.
Because we talk about generational wealth. African Americans, we want to leave generational wealth. We know how to make money. That's not the problem.
Right. Listen, and we gonna get into
that money
wealth. We're gonna get into that, because I think that is so important, right? So I heard you say it's a mind thing. We have the money, we're just misusing it.
Yeah, mishandling. Yeah.
Right. So we're mishandling the money. Sometimes we just don't know. And you're right. I don't have it is the best statement, but we have it for what we want.
Well, absolutely.
I mean, this is real talk with Ellasin. We have it for what we want, right? So my lights are getting ready to get cut off, but I'm walking around here with a Louis purse.
Yeah.
What do we want? So you think that 7 is a good age to start teaching about the money? Because I think 7, I know my kids was getting allowance. Right. Yes. So you talk a lot about stewardship, and the mere fact that you guys are not just CEOs and founders of the Financial Academy, you guys are also in ministry together. So I hear you guys say a lot about stewardship. So talk from the natural and spiritual perspective of stewardship.
Okay. Man, I believe it's hard for us to, live an abundant life that God has designed for us and prepared for us, because we don't truly understand the principles of abundance, and it goes back to, I think it goes back to a broken theology where we always would hear, oh, I'm just waiting for God to pay my light bill. And it's like, hold on.
Troy, don't do that. Don't get me started on that one. Do not. Go ahead.
It's like, hold on. I'm just waiting on God to pay my light bill, or it's a miracle when God does something like that. And it's like, hold on, no. If I'm gonna need a miracle from God, I don't want it to be my light bill. Like, I want to be, if I don't want to be paralyzed now, but I want to, like, you get what I'm saying?
Pick up your mat and walk.
To be like, stand up and walk. That's the miracle. Like, God, I've been down. Just stand up and walk and go. Okay, I can do that. But the miracle to pay my light bill, and I think it comes from the theology in itself. Like, we believe that Jesus was broke. Like, if you think about it, what baby that had him bringing frankincense, gold, and myrrh.
Gold and myrrh.
and you look deeper behind it. Okay, if he was a baby, who managed that for him? Right? Who was the steward of that? Right? Who stewarded his resources that he had? So, Mary and Joseph.
So what I'm hearing you say, it starts with the parents.
Come on.
Parents, grandparents, guardian, whatever, auntie, uncle, whoever's in charge. It starts with us. That's what I'm hearing you saying, because, and I'm glad that you brought that up, because so many people don't even understand the value of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. So maybe if they research and understand the value of that, they will understand that Jesus wasn't broke anyway. He wasn't broke. By no means. So I'm glad you brought that up. Go ahead. I'm listening.
I once heard my pastor, he said, if somebody wants to come up to you and say, hey, leave your job and follow me, right? He's like, leave your job and follow me. You'd be like, all right, hold on now. But if Oprah was to come up to you and say, leave your job, I got something for you, and follow me, you're like, oh, I see the resources that she have. If she's giving away cars and, you get a car, and it's like, okay. So I think it starts with how we understand Jesus in itself, like, right? To bring the transition of the spiritual into the natural. So if we can understand that, look at how Jesus operated with his resources, we could be more willing to understand the abundant lifestyle. Like, God doesn't call us to live in debt and pass on debt and be struggling day in and day out and be sick in our bodies because we can't afford a dental procedure, or like, God doesn't call that for us. He said,
come on now, you got to start preaching up in here.
He said, I called you to have life and life more abundantly. Right?
That's right.
Abundance is not just money or finances, but it's a holistic abundance. Right?
Yes, health, your spiritual health, your mental health, your physical health. Listen, Troy, you the one that brought up Oprah, so I got to go there, okay? So I'm not, this is Real Talk with Ellasin. I'm not giving away no cars. All I got is Jesus, so amen.
Not yet.
But let's talk about Oprah. What they didn't know about them cars is they needed to pay them taxes on them cars, so you still had to have the money anyway.
That's right.
She gave you the car, but are you paying them taxes and all that stuff on the car, right? So Jesus, with Jesus, you come follow me, he gonna take care of it all, right? Yep. I believe tithes, offering, all that is important. All that is a part of stewardship.
Yes.
Right? So yes, you guys are so funny.
All we know how to do is just keep it real,
generational wealth. We don't want no generational debt.
Yes.
We don't want no generational debt. Don't leave me with your bills.
Yes.
Right? Do not leave me with your bills at all. And if I can quote the scripture, it is Proverbs 13:22, and it says, a good man leaves an inheritance to his children. Right? So so his children, his children's children, and it keeps going on and on and on. Right? It don't say anything about leaving them no debt. They got to pay your debt off and everything else. and you didn't have anything to give to them. So is that important to make sure that we have enough to leave on? Because, you know, truth is, I remember reading something else, and I'm not going to bring the lady's name up, but she's a well-known financial advisor, and she was just basically saying, let your kids fend for themselves.
Wow.
Right? But that's not what other ethnicities do. So why should we as a people do it?
Right.
So I want to transition into generational wealth, and I want to bring something up again from the Black Wall Street. The destruction of the property is only one piece of the financial devastation that the massacre wrought. The financial toll of the massacre, it came up to like 1.8 million in property loss and claims back then. Mm-hmm. In today's dollar, it would have been worth over $30 million, right? So that was in today 10 years ago. So no telling where the people would have been to this day if by any chance Black Wall Street would have been able to continue. Because as we can see, it grew from 1.8 million 10 years ago. It was 30 million. And how important would that have been to the people to continue that money? Yeah. Because you hear of big stars and big Fortune 500 where they've had the money, their kids have the money, the grandkids now have the money. So how important is that for generational wealth?
Oh, that's really good. I'll chime in because he gonna preach.
I'll go.
But I'll just say this because this is just keep ringing in my head. You can have all the money left to you, because we help families all the time, and it's like setting up that transfer of wealth. But if those children mishandle it by not being properly educated, what good is it?
Yeah.
Come on, if you could leave one thing to your children's children, it has to be principles.
Yes. Come on now.
It has to be principles. Now, I get it's like you got your grandkids having the money and wealth, but you have to have them, those principles being passed down from generation to generation. They have to understand how money works.
Right.
Money is good, but that can be blown. It can start all over by the third generation.
Right. Man, wow. So basically, what does generational wealth look like, and where do we start, right? Because we can always go back and say, well, Black Wall Street. Well, okay, well, unfortunately, it happened and is no more. That's so right. Where do we as a people start? Where does generational start? And then also, how important is it, like you said, to apply principles?
Oh man, okay. The starting point. Anytime you go to a restaurant, and let's say McDonald's or Cookout or Chick-fil-A,
Chick-fil-A.
There are three components that comes with a meal. It's your burger or your sandwich, your fries, and your shake. Either your drink or your shake. Right.
Okay.
So
Chick-fil-A shakes are the bomb. Okay.
Right. The burgers, fries, and shakes is where you start. And this is what I mean by burgers, fries, and shake. What we help people, what we emphasize on when we teach is the importance of having a foundation. Look at her sticking her head in.
Hi, baby.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi, baby. Okay.
So the burgers, fries, and shakes, this is what I mean. What we help people emphasize on is the importance of having a foundation. So a solid foundation consists of life insurance. This is why. The first thing, your shake. A shake is what we consider a final expense policy. And what a final expense policy is solely for the purpose of burying loved ones. Because what happens when someone transitions or passes away, the funeral home wants their money right then and there for funeral, burial, tombstones, things of that sort. The final expense policy is the gap.
Yeah.
It fills the gap until your life insurance policy kicks in, because most life insurance companies want 30 to 60 to 90 days for the death certificate to come out before they pay out your claim.
Right. Yeah.
That's your shake. Your fries is what we call a term policy with living benefits. Remember, I talked about the living benefits.
Yes.
Right. Term policies are usually lower in premium cost, but you get a higher death benefit. Right. So you can get, if you're a 30-year-old male, you can get a $500,000 term policy with living benefits for, if you qualify for maybe $30 to $45.
Mm-hmm.
Right. The importance of the living benefits. What happens if you get too sick? You have a heart attack, cancer, or stroke, and you have to be out of work. You can't do 2 out of 6 of your daily living activities. You can't feed yourself, bathe yourself.
Wow.
Just like you put in a claim with your car insurance, or with your phone insurance, when something happens, it's life insurance. You insure your life. If not, if it wasn't life insurance, it would be called death insurance.
Right.
So it's used for while you're living.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the term policy will expire over time. It's a period of time, but that's the fries. But you want to have that term in the event something happens to you.
Right.
God forbid you pass away, your loved ones get the death benefit. And remember, it's at a higher cost.
Right.
And then your burger, higher death benefit. And then your burger or your sandwich is what we call the IUL. And this is
say that again, the what?
IUL. And it stands for Index Universal Life.
Okay. IUL.
Yes.
And this is a permanent strategy, but it has multiple components. It has the living benefits component attached to it, just like the term. It has the death benefit attached to it, just like the term, but it also has a savings component. Mm-hmm. Why is this important? Because when crises happen and people don't have a foundation, when a crisis happens, people pull from their 401k accounts.
Yes.
They can't retire.
Right.
Because
they got to pay that back.
Yep.
Woo. Y'all said that together. Y'all so cute. Wow. Listen, you guys been watching Real Talk with Ellasin, and we have been talking with Troy and Jasmine Wilkins, and they have been dropping some knowledge on here today. Listen, matter of fact, you guys, y'all have a website, right? We need to get the website scrolling now and later and at the end so people can know, because what you're saying is so important. It is very important for us to be able to tell us the website.
Yes. So our website for Finance Academy is www.financeacademyinc.org. Mm-hmm. And there you'll be able to get all of the information there.
Okay. So because I think it's important, y'all see it on the screen. We're going to scroll it for a minute so y'all can make sure y'all write it down, right? Mm-hmm. Because again, we talked about the Black Wall Street. They survived with each other, right? They helped each other out. They supported each other. That's how they were able to survive. That's how they were able to go from blocks to blocks to blocks to 35 blocks of 10,000 Black people living together, right? In harmony, living together, working together, and supporting one another. So you guys see the website. It's time for us to support us and help us grow as a community. Get the shackles off of our minds. Stop giving our money to people who don't care much about us. It's time to learn about finances. Get the kids, get the grandkids, grab your neighbor's kids, right? Because it does take a community. It does take a community. So with Greenwood residents, right, they held more than 200 different types of jobs. Right? 200 different types of jobs. About 40% of the community's residents were professionals or skilled craft people. They were doctors, they were pharmacists, they were carpenters, they were hairdressers. And according to Times, in the 1920 census, many of them were couples in business. So here we have a community of doctors and lawyers and carpenters and pharmacists. So they were educated and a smart people. Yeah. How important is it? Because Jasmine, you said this before, it's a mind thing. How important is it for us to know who we are as a people? We are not lost.
Yeah. Wow, that is a really good question. When you know who you are, especially as a couple, you learn your strengths, you acknowledge your weaknesses. And when you have someone that you're in business with, like all of those successful couples in the professions and careers that you just listed, they figured it out together. And coming together, you can collaborate where you may be weak in one area, your partner in business will be strong in, and vice versa. So just knowing who you are, it won't cause any conflict because you won't try to be something that you're not. And then ultimately preventing the enhancement or, the forward of the actual goal at hand. So just knowing who you are, where you come from is so important. So like you say, you won't be lost and like really second guessing and really adding friction to the progress.
Right. So let me ask you this. As I said, it was 200 different types of, retail shops, you name it, that they employed people there. What would you say about the importance of financing and even being entrepreneurs? Is it benefits?
Absolutely. The people who are taxed the most are W-2 employees. Corporations receive tax breaks for you being an employee, right? So there's many benefits, a sense of building your own, table for your family. Building not just your own table, but collaborating with others and having a network of entrepreneurs. There's many benefits. Now, the disadvantages, or I wouldn't really say disadvantages, but it's areas of growth, is entrepreneurship is hard work. You're going to work harder than you do at your W-2 job, right? You're going to work way harder, but there's multiple benefits. The main one is the taxes.
Yes.
Two things you can't avoid: death and Uncle Sam. Right?
Yes.
But as an entrepreneur,
yes, we gonna die.
Yep, you gonna die.
And we gonna pay the I, the R, the S.
Right.
We gonna pay.
Right. But as an entrepreneur, there's strategies and ways that you can minimize, your taxes. You can minimize how much you pay in taxes. Everybody want to save on taxes. We just don't know how, right? So there's multiple benefits as an entrepreneur: learning leadership, learning how to collaborate and network, learning how to become the best version of yourself, right? So multiple benefits. And then as an entrepreneur, you also provide other opportunities to your community.
Yeah.
Not just your people, but to people who may need employment, people, single parents or single mothers and fathers that may, need a job, need extra income, and also philanthropy work that you can do from being an entrepreneur.
I think
out of our professional, what we do as professionals, that's where Finance Academy was birthed. So that's like the ministry. All of it is ministry, but it's like, oh man, I never knew that there was a need for children, because what they get in school is just how to count money. Who is the president on the dollar? And it's like, okay, what really? Come on now.
Right.
That's
right.
So,
I like that. And you are so right. They don't do too much about money in school anymore. So, the thing about being an entrepreneur, right? And you guys birthing, your financial academy. So the one thing about Black Wall Street, right, is they actually went to the Caucasians and was attempting to buy either commercial property or something like that, they were turned down. And this is how Black Wall Street got started, because you know what, you're going to turn me down, so I'm going to start my own. So is there benefits? You said there's tax benefits. Is there benefits instead of paying a lease or rent to actually owning?
There's always benefits in owning.
Right. Commercial property, home, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
Right.
Always benefits in owning. But it is unique to the situation, right? Okay. If you have to lease starting out, then absolutely lease. Yeah. But we know, when we own land, that's a whole different ball game, right? Yeah. Versus leasing land, because the owners at any point in time can come in and say, "This is my land. I own it. I can do what I want."
That's right.
So when we own things, I'll use land as an example. We can then look into farming and the foods that we grow and how much processed foods go into schools versus how much natural grown, food. Yeah. So there's many benefits to owning. It's just about where you are in the phase of, where you are in life financially. That'll determine, should I lease this or should I own it?
Right.
Now, when we talk more advanced financial discussion, now we talk about, I'm leasing this, but I'm using other people's money.
Right.
So that's a whole nother
topic, ain't it?
Yeah, that's a whole nother topic.
That's a whole nother one. So listen, if they want to know more about that, what's that website again?
financeacademyinc.org. And yes, we'll be able to reach out to you and have a one-on-one consultation with you guys.
Yes, because listen, that's what it's all about, being knowledgeable, not being stuck, right? Sometimes we feel like we're stuck. The other thing that I wanted to pull out of the Black Wall Street about them, a lot of them being couples in business, that I thought was very important is because you guys are couples in business, but y'all also do ministry together, right? Not just with the financial, but you do spiritual ministry together. So how important is, and I'm going to bring it from the past to now, because we know in the past, our ancestors, they did nothing but rely on God. So how important is that now to you today?
I love that question. So definitely relying on God and going forward in ministry, it's all about your personal relationship with Him. And in today, it can be so many distractions. And ultimately, you have to do what God is telling you to do. And just that personal time and talking with Him will give you the steps you need to fulfill the assignment that you have on your life, right? Because if you just kind of just go by what you see all the time, that may not be your oil, like to really make an impact. So just being in ministry together is super important to have that personal relationship. It's okay, you can talk to God for yourself, and then He will guide you on what it is that He has for you. And you just have that courage to take that thing by the horns, right? And definitely go after everything He has for you. So ministry is a beautiful thing. It's priority, because after all of that, it's like your blessings will flow if you just serve and do like what God is telling you to do.
Yeah, because I heard you when you said that, just ministry, and then it's like, oh wow, look at this, there's a need. Who knew that there was a need? And that's what minister is. Minister is, if I see a need, I need to meet a need. Wow. And you guys answered the call. Did you step out on faith, or did you like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do?
Wow. It's both, it's both. It's like, okay, step out on faith. Okay, I'm a little scared, God. I don't know where you're trying to take this thing, but I do trust you, for this moment. I trust you right now, but once you show me a little something, then my trust, okay, God,
your faith and growth.
Yeah, you didn't pull it through for me now. Okay, yes. I love you a little bit more, God.
Trusting you more than just the light bill.
Yeah, but it's everything. It's everything, and it's the foundation. It's the foundation. Like you said, our ancestors relied heavily on, you know, God and on the Holy Spirit, right?
Yeah.
The spirituals, and it nothing has changed, because without it, it's like you got a compass, but you don't know where you're going, you know, and it's just north, south, east, and west, but you don't know which way to go. When you put God into the equation as the foundation, He'll tell you, all right, go east, but in this season now you need to go west. Now you need to go back east, you know, so you get that direction, you know. Stop. Like,
sometimes you got to be, listen, I'm with you. Sometimes you got to be still. You know, I see something where it says you can write your plan out, but make sure you do it in pencil, because God gonna come and change the whole thing. So I seen that. So He will definitely guide you, and that's what you guys are, because He's not going to do what we can do. So it's a relationship, but you definitely have to have an ear to hear Him.
For sure.
Right. For sure. And those listen, them old spirituals, whoo, Lord, they will, man, they
she
were
get on me. She get on me because I love them, and she be like, you listen to that old she's like,
listen
to that old music.
Those right there will take you behind the veil to the holies of holies. Those old spirituals are what they did, because, you know, the strength that God had given them, because they were, you know, leaning heavily on Him. It was the spirituals when they were in the fields, when things were happening, slavery, when they were getting beat, even to see their men taken and being lynched. It was the Lord that was getting them through all of this. And I'm saying that to say, sometimes it looks like that we have taken God out of so much, right? And I don't even know if you noticed, but I want to say it goes back to either 2017 or 2018, even on our money, the coins, where it says, in God we trust, where the man used to face, in God we trust, now it's behind Him. It's almost as if we have turned our backs on God. But we need Him in all things, right? Especially entrepreneurship, especially in our finances, because He can guide us that way too.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So being a couple in ministry, how important is it for you guys to make sure y'all cultivate the relationship that y'all have?
Oh, it's important. It's us each having our own individual relationship, and then collective relationship. So there's times where I'm in prayer, or, you know, I walked in the house the other day and she was just laid out in the closet, and I'm just like, let me just close the door and go ahead and do my thing. And then there's times where both of us are in those moments interceding, where it's like, okay, this some time where we both need to be together, and even including our baby girls in it.
Right. So I want you guys, I'm going to say this comment. And as I'm saying this comment, I want you to think about the nugget to drop to the people. Right. Okay. So we have laws that were put in place today to prohibit the teaching of Black history. Right. Those laws are still in place. Right. So some say Black Wall Street didn't exist. The massacre didn't happen. However, here we are more than 100 years later, and they are finding the graves. Archaeologists are finding the graves of the victims of these individuals from the massacre, whose bodies has never even been found, even over 100 years ago. Right. So it is so important for us to know our history, because we are history. We do matter. And I say that to say that we do not have to rely on anyone to tell us who we are. When we know whose we are and who we are in Christ, then we know who we are as a people. Troy, Jasmine, what's your nugget?
Wow, just knowing who we are as a people definitely is super important, because when we understand that we are all powerful coming together, right? Knowing the power in just coming together in unity and making the ultimate assignment be fulfilled. So coming together is so important as a community, reaching out and supporting one another, so that we can take this thing by storm and really make a difference. We can't try to make things happen on our own. We can't try to just feel like, oh, it's mine, all for me. So when you get out of the mindset of like fending for your like my children got to fend for themselves, if you can't have that type of mentality, just knowing even today, I need help. You need help. We need each other. Because like I mentioned before, the strengths will complement each other. You have a weakness in some area that you can collaborate with someone in your community to actually get that goal accomplished. So just making sure that you have your mindset open to collaborating, because we can go further together than we can by ourselves.
Yes, that's good. I like that. Okay. Troy, anything to add?
Yes. My nugget is when we realize who we are as a people, we realize our identity as African Americans, or even if you're not African American, who are you at the root of just at your roots, who you are, that empowers you. But then when we make that's knowing who you are in the natural, but also knowing and understanding our new identity in the spiritual. Yes. Right. And it's not to say that though that new identity or that identity and knowing who you are in the natural doesn't matter. No, that identity in the natural enhances that new identity in the spiritual. So when we accept Christ and when we, accept him as our Lord and Savior, he gives us a new identity. And that identity is not an identity that's based on the laws, the regulations, the rules of the world. But it's now you transitioning into a new identity of the kingdom. So when we walk in a kingdom identity, there's a whole nother authority, right? Now we can go into places and take territory, right?
Come on now.
That's right.
I'm gonna have you on another show, another panel with the ministers and stuff. Yes. Listen, I definitely appreciate you guys so much for being on the show. You guys, you have been watching Real Talk with Ellasin. We've been talking with Troy and Jasmine Wilkins, and they have been giving us some great nuggets, and we so appreciate them for being on the show. Troy and Jasmine, you guys hold on, right? Hold on. Don't go nowhere. So thank you guys so much for tuning into Real Talk with Ellasin. And I just want to say this. When we're born, we look like our parents. When we die, we look like our decisions.
That's good.
Yeah, that's powerful, right? So stay tuned next week. We are still continuing on with Black History Month with a twist, right? So stay tuned next week, next Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And again, thank you so much for watching Real Talk with Ellasin. Y'all have a wonderful, blessed evening. Good night. Mwah.